The year was 1959, deep in the Cold War, but in the northern Ural Mountains, a different kind of cold ruled. This was a land of ancient peaks, deep forests, and brutal winters, where the indigenous Mansi people gave the mountains names that warned of their power. Here, nature was absolute, and humans were mere visitors, dwarfed by a colossal white wilderness. The silence was profound, broken only by wind or the crunch of snow. In late January, the landscape was at its most formidable, temperatures far below freezing, fierce winds, and short, shadowy days. Survival here demanded skill, experience, and respect for the mountain's power. This was not a place for the unprepared, yet this remote corner was about to become the stage for one of the most chilling mysteries of the 20th century. A story that began with youthful ambition and ended in unexplained terror. The Ural Mountains, indifferent and silent, would soon claim a story forever etched into their snowy peaks. The Dyatlov Pass Incident is a journey into the heart of the unknown, a stark reminder of how thin the veil is between the known and the unknowable. Our story begins at the Ural Polytechnical Institute in Sverdlovsk, where a group of skilled students and graduates planned an ambitious winter expedition. Led by Igor Dyatlov, a meticulous and respected 23-year-old, the team was a close-knit group of friends, all experienced hikers and skiers. Their goal to ski across the northern Urals and ascend Mount Otorten, whose name, in the Mansi language, ominously means, "Don't go there." The group of 10 included Zenaida Kolmogorova, Lyudmila Dubinina, Alexander Kolovatov, Rustem Slobodin, Yuri Krivonishenko, Yuri Doroshenko, Nicholas Thibault-Brignolel, Semyon Zolotaryov, and Yuri Yudin. They aimed for the highest level of winter hiking certification, a testament to their skill and courage. Early in the journey, Yuri Yudin was forced to turn back due to illness, unknowingly saving his life. He said goodbye, wishing his friends luck, never imagining he'd be the last to see them alive. The remaining 9 pressed on, unaware of the fate that awaited them. Their journey was more than a test of endurance, it was a leap into the unknown. The group documented everything, their diaries and cameras capturing the spirit of adventure, but soon, the adventure would turn to tragedy. The mountains, indifferent to human ambition, were waiting, and the story of Dyatlov Pass was about to begin in earnest. After Yuri Yudin's departure, the 9 hikers continued, spirits high, documenting their trek through forests and across frozen rivers. On January 31st, they reached the highlands, leaving a cache of supplies at the pass's base, a standard move to lighten their loads for the final ascent. The weather turned on February 1st. A fierce snowstorm descended, visibility vanished, and the group veered off course. Instead of Mount Otorten, they found themselves on the slopes of Kholat Syakhl, Mountain of the Dead, in the Mansi language, tied to legends of lost hunters. With daylight fading and the storm raging, Igor Dyatlov made a fateful decision to camp on the exposed slope rather than retreat to the forest below. This choice has puzzled experts for decades, as it broke standard winter camping protocol. Perhaps Dyatlov wanted to avoid losing altitude, or believed the storm would pass. Whatever the reason, the group pitched their tent on the desolate windswept slope. It was here, in this isolated place, that their journey would end. They would never see another sunrise. The mountain's silence would soon be shattered by a mystery that endures to this day. The final camp was set. Unaware, they stood on the edge of the unknown. The night would bring terror no one could have foreseen. Dyatlov had promised to send a telegram by February 12th, marking their safe return. When the date passed with no word, families and friends grew uneasy, but delays were common in such harsh conditions. Days stretched into a week, and worry turned to dread. The hikers were experienced. Dyatlov was known for his reliability. The silence from the Urals became unbearable. Families pressured authorities to act, knowing the region's dangers. By February 20th, the situation was dire. Search parties of students, teachers, and eventually, the military were mobilized. Planes, helicopters, and ground teams scoured the vast, snowbound wilderness. The search was grueling. Deep snow and remoteness hampered every effort. For days, nothing was found. The mountains kept their secrets. Hope faded, replaced by grim determination to find answers. The families waited in agony, the silence now an echo of tragedy. The stage was set for the discovery that would shock the world. On February 26, searchers spotted a dark shape on Kholat Syakhl slope. The hiker's tent, partially collapsed and snow-covered. Relief turned to confusion. The tent had been sliced open from the inside. Boots, coats, and supplies were left behind, neatly arranged. Why would experienced hikers cut their way out and flee into a deadly storm, barefoot and underdressed? Outside, footprints led calmly down the slope toward the forest. No sign of panic, just a silent, orderly retreat. The tracks vanished under the snow, 500 meters from the tent. The searchers followed, dread mounting with every step. The abandoned camp stood as a silent monument to a moment of inexplicable terror. The hikers had faced something so sudden and terrifying, survival instincts were overridden. The Dyatlov Pass mystery had truly begun. Following the footprints, searchers reached the tree line and found the first two bodies, Yuri Krivonyshenko and Yuri Doroshenko, beneath a cedar tree, stripped to their underwear, hands burned, branches broken high above. They had frozen to death, but the scene was strange and desperate. 3 more bodies, Dyatlov, Kolmogorova, and Slobodin, were found between the tree and the tent, as if trying to return. All had died of hypothermia, but with odd injuries. Slobodin had a fractured skull. Kolmogorova's hands were raw and bloody. The remaining 4 hikers were missing for months, finally found in May, buried under 4 meters of snow in a ravine. Their injuries were horrific. Thibaut Brignolel had a massive skull fracture. Dubinina and Zolotaryov had crushed chests as if hit by a car. Dubinina was missing her tongue, eyes, and part of her lips. The injuries were internal, with little external trauma. Some clothing was radioactive, and the victim's skin had an unnatural orange hue. The evidence defied explanation. This was no ordinary tragedy. The searchers were left with more questions than answers. The mountain had revealed its victims, but not its secrets. The mystery deepened with every discovery. The catastrophic injuries baffled Soviet investigators. Hypothermia couldn't explain crushed ribs and fractured skulls without external wounds. The missing tongue, radiation, and orange skin only deepened the mystery. Theories abounded, but no narrative fit all the facts. After 3 months, the case was abruptly closed. The official conclusion: the hikers died from an unknown compelling force. The files were sealed, the area restricted, and speculation exploded. The silence of the authorities only fueled the legend. With no satisfying answers, theories flourished. The most accepted is the slab avalanche. A block of snow crushed the tent, causing panic and internal injuries. But critics note the lack of avalanche evidence and the calm footprints. Others suspect secret military tests, parachute mines, radiation, and strange lights in the sky. Some propose attacks by unknown creatures or even UFOs, citing the violent injuries and missing tongue. Each theory has flaws, none explain every detail. The torn tent, barefoot tracks, horrific wounds, and radiation remain unresolved. The case is a puzzle with too many missing pieces. The Dyatlov Pass incident resists every attempt at explanation. Decades later, the Dyatlov Pass incident endures as a chilling legend. The hikers' photographs show vibrant lives, frozen before tragedy struck. The story taps into our deepest fears: the unknown, the uncontrollable, the inexplicable. The image of 9 fleeing their only shelter, barefoot into a blizzard, haunts us still. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the case, again citing an avalanche, yet doubts persist. Every explanation crumbles under contradictory evidence. The mystery is a perfect enigma, a reminder of nature's power and our limits. Some mysteries, perhaps, are not meant to be solved. The silence of the Urals may be the only answer we ever get. The spirits of the 9 remain, their story a haunting echo in the snows of time.